What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. I think I've found my groove with videos every day at 1, 4, and 7 p.m., and that gives people time to catch those 3 videos, and then it gives them a whole night to catch all the way up. So I hope that you at least peruse the 3 videos I've done today, and that you dropped a like on them and left a comment, and I guess ultimately hope that you were entertained by them. So welcome into another hilarious story. This time is Kotaku getting completely ratioed with their gamer bait tweets. Now, I think I wanted to use this to springboard to have a little discussion with you all about the bubble that these games journalism websites are sitting on. Kotaku, Polygon, Eurogamer, they're all on a bubble. What they do is they are artificially inflating their traffic numbers. They are not counting for people that, the times have changed, I guess I want to say. More people are blocking ads, more people are just getting their content elsewhere. And this is why we see these articles like the one that's coming out from CNET this week. I talked to several people that this CNET hack interviewed, and he was asking them questions like, do you ever feel bad for using the word woke? Do you feel bad, or do you regret calling people SJWs? Because a lot of the old media, as we see with Vox versus Steven Crowder, for example. And again, it's not about whether I agree or disagree with your opinion. So, you can just curb your, I don't like Steven Crowder. Oh, I hate Steven. I don't care. It's not about that. It's about old media. And by the way, if you get mired in that, you're missing what really matters. It's about old media versus new media. And old media is getting desperate. They're hemorrhaging cash. Places like Vox and Polygon are wildly unprofitable. Eurogamer profits are tanking. Nobody wants to spend money on their sites. They want to pay for influencers. They want to pay streamers. Look at where EA spent their money. Okay, EA didn't buy huge layouts on Kotaku and Polygon.com to advertise for Apex Legends, did they? They went and they paid Ninja $1 million, and they paid Dr. Disrespect several $100,000, and Shroud. They went and they just went straight to the influencers because of 2 things. One, the way people consume their media these days has changed, and it's grown, and it's matured. Also, nobody really trusts games journalists anymore. And that isn't to say that there aren't good ones out there. I, in fact, had a 45-minute phone call last night with a blue check mark journalist that I've blasted in the past, and it was an excellent conversation about Call of Duty and about the way the market changes and about how we could both better understand each other. So there are real pros still out there, but most of what we see are these like rage bait articles, right? Nobody would be talking about Kotaku if it weren't for these. Like, this literal video exists because of the hate bait. But of course, I will link you an archive link of the article, as because I don't want to, well, twofold. I don't want to reward this type of behavior, and also I want to make sure nothing changes, and I want to make sure that we have this article captured at the time of when I did the video. That's obviously the major reason and the main reason I do it. So we look at Code Vein's network test was packed with trashy anime action. Now, this is bait, okay? Code Vein is kind of like the anime Dark Souls. It looks really good. I think people are really interested in it. And spoiler alert, this author, despite pushing that, kind of just had to put that little gamer bait piece in it, says that they actually liked the game. But they can't resist baiting gamers because no one would read this article if it weren't for that. Now, I'm not going to assume that many of you have read it because I think you all know better. As you can see, the comment with just 186 favorites has more than twice the number of comments. Of course, you have normies, and then you have the child drinking their anime bobs. I love that meme. And you can just see them getting blown out all the way. Vice Media laying people off. We know that. Vox is laying people off. Vox is desperate for cash. Vox isn't making any money. Meanwhile, their employees are demanding more money. So we know how that's going to work. So we see how, and obviously Heather Alexandria has written some horrible stink pieces in the past, and they have a reputation for this type of thing. And you can see Heather tweeting the exact same thing. I played a lot of Code Vein this weekend. It's perfectly fine Soulsy action if you can get past the cheese and sleaze. Again, this person is trying to say, well, the game is good and that it's okay that it's trashy. Well, here's the thing, and here is actually what I explained to that game journalist last night. I spent 45 minutes explaining it in a very kind way. I said, look, you're a journalist. I would consider myself more as a part of the gaming community or a commentator, okay? And at least in how we approach things. And he was asking, well, why do you think I got so much backlash? And I said, well, because of this, this, and this. Like, don't bring up New Zealand, don't bring up, just stupid. There are things that will immediately turn people off. And here's another one where, Kotaku hasn't really had anything to say for many months. And now it's about trashy anime action. And I think people that enjoy their anime type games don't view it as trash. So you can backtrack all you want, Heather, because that's what this author tries to do in the comment section, which is what we're going to get at in a second. The author tries to say, oh, no, I meant trashy it's a good thing. It's trashy. It's like, I'm into it. No, I mean, I get it, but you got to understand the audience. The audience doesn't like it when you call their thing trashy, even if you're like, no, I'm totally one of you, bros. Hello, fellow weebs. You can see this weekend, the anime nonsense action role-playing game Code Vein held a closed network test. Again, you call it nonsense. The results were both everything I expected from fun and more fun than I imagined. Beat for beat Dark Souls gameplay, edgy anime designs, might seem groan-worthy, but teaming up with other players to defeat difficult bosses was incredibly cool, if little simplistic at times. Code Vein is, as they say, a land of contrasts. And you talk about, again, this is overall a decent article, but you couldn't resist baiting people by saying, there's a split here between the eye-rolling anime plot, which obviously anime fans are going to have a problem with, and you knew that when you wrote it, and the actual experience of playing. On one hand, there's a vague story where your character is an amnesiac, blood-absorbing chosen one with scantily clad magical companion. For the record, her chest is big, and the slightest breeze makes it sway like a pile of coconuts in a hammock. Sold! It was more than a little distracting. If you can't get over the cheese and sleaze, I wouldn't blame you. If you could comb over that, there's plenty of quality dungeon crawling and boss slaying to be had. So again, it's like, okay, the article itself, I'm going to have to go against my better judgment here because I want to show you the comments, because that's the frustrating thing here. Clearly this person liked the game, but they wrote the article debate people. You can see, I don't get what you're talking about. Most anime games I see coming out are filled with the same level of fan service. It's not like Code Vein is some dying breed of games. I, for one, get really exhausted. This is the author now, explaining that A, trash is often fantastic, and that B, fan service is more than often fine in my book. It's not trash, though, to the people that like it. Code Vein is a fun game so far. I say as much in this very article. I love the character creator. I'm on board with the edginess and cheese. And even if combat is a bit floaty, it feels like there are a lot of chances to build neat character builds. And I want to play more of this game. Again, you called it cheesy, though. Like, I think if you learn to soften, if you say, like, some people might say this is cheesy, but I think, that's in the eye of the beholder. But the gameplay is good. Like, I don't understand what's so hard. Why do you have to make everybody angry? I don't know what to say. I genuinely don't, because so often when I do say anything, it gets ignored. I can say, this one thing is silly, but the game itself is neat. Okay, but why don't you say that? You didn't say that. You said that the woman's chest blowing in the breeze was something that you had to get over, that it was something that was cheesy or sleazy or trashy. And literally folks have to message me that say I should be fired. Obviously that's too far. Your opinion. I mean, look, I rely on your trashy opinions. For me, trash is good. calling video game aspect trash is probably not going to be well received. You have to be more self-aware. This is one of the things I tried to coach this journalist on. I said, look, I know it's not about everyone liking you, but if you want people to respect you in the gaming community, you can't be talking about their games like an outsider, and you can't be coming off as disingenuous by saying, I've been a gamer most of my life. Even if you say that type of thing, people are going to have their spider senses up. Fan service is fine. Funky stuff is fine. Tastes vary, and do as you do. Awesome phrase, right? But then you go on to say trash is a treasure, or else DMC5 wouldn't be my favorite game this year. But I still reserve to be the right to say, gosh, there's barely a breeze, and these bobs are gain-axing a lot. That doesn't strike me as like that wild or unreasonable thing to say. No, I don't think it is unreasonable, but you dedicated several sentences in, I don't know how many, 10 paragraphs, 8 paragraphs, to how things look and commenting on that. And I just think, just try not to cut yourself on the edge, okay? I mean, anime, like the female body form in those video games isn't, I don't think, meant to be edgy. It's just the style. It's the way things are. I don't think people who like anime do it to be edgy. They just like what they like. And I think if games journalists want to be games journalists, they would do themselves a favor to understand that their audience is oftentimes going to be fans of this thing. And you can be critical of that thing without making the people who like it feel like idiots, okay? And this is something that games journalists will never do. They'll never understand because they, in my opinion, feel like they get off on the superiority complex and how, people pay. I have a blue check mark by my name, therefore my opinions are valid. I think some humility will go a long way in the games journalism space because they do serve an important job. They can be a force for good when they don't see themselves as us versus them. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as well as your big, bodacious anime bobs. We'll talk to you again real soon.